Good morning. I'm in Handbridge near Chester and I've parked up and I'm going to walk to the Groves, which is on the River Dee in Chester. It's only a short walk. I've actually parked here, found somewhere where I can park. I used to live in Chester and I know, like one of these places here, you just take potluck, but there's usually a free car parking space. So if you like, with the other side of the Dee, and this particular part is over a bridge and it's called Handbridge, and we're going to cross a suspension walking bridge. As you can see, it's quite well heeled around here. They're not short of a few bob. Yeah. Footbridge, that's what I was thinking of. My God. I must get rid of those lead pipes in the house. So only a few short things. I'm not going to do a long walk because there's things I want to do in Chester. So here we go. City of Chester, Queen's Park Bridge, 1923. Little information board there. As I say, I used to live in Chester for quite a few years, but I had to move at the time because of the job I had. And I've been on it, and you can jump up and down in a group and it starts to react because it's suspended, of course, on cables. Lovely walk along here. So the Groves is where you'll see later, you can get a boat trip along the Dee. One of them's called the Princess Diana, and her butler at the time, Paul Burrell, lives a few miles outside of Chester. Don't know what he's doing now. Apparently, I think he's left his wife and he's with a male partner, and they seem happy. It was a bit of a problem, wasn't there, where he had some of her personal items, Diana's stuff. I actually met him in the post office once. Of course, I didn't bother him, and he didn't bother me. I didn't look regal or anything, you know, obviously. Anyway, just a bit of pointless chat. There we are. As you can see, let's have a zoom in. There we are. Sort of look like an old riverboat on the Mississippi or something. There we are. The other side are boating clubs and rowing clubs, and a nice pub, very nice pub, where you just sit there and you're right on the river. I can see some activity up there in the distance. You see some river. You need a big TV to show the full and be able to see maybe a rowing boat up there. Rowers. Lovely cafes here. So you can also buy 2 tickets, one here for the river cruise, and also the bus, the tour bus comes down here, so you can get a joint ticket and save some money, you know, and get the 2. That should fill up quite a bit of time as well, so it's probably worth it. And ahead of me there, you go into the city and there's a church, I do know the name, I can't think at the moment, and Grosvenor Park, which has a miniature railway in it, amongst other things, and sometimes they have like a wheel. Yeah, one of those wheels. They've got the one at Cheshire Oaks, which is a shopping area. It's good to see on that branch the buds are coming out. And that's the Dee, the River Dee. Starts off in the depths of Wales, and I think it might be parts of England as well, and end up in the estuary and flows in along the peninsula, Wirral Peninsula and the Welsh Flintshire coast, and out to sea. So and there's the entrance, one of the entrances into Grosvenor Park. If I do that, I'll do it separately. Just want to go down to the Groves and have a seat, relax. Yeah. There you go. It's quite impressive, that bridge. Really good. So I was over there, across that, the other side of the Dee, and it's just got me here a short walk. And this is a great location to just hang around. They have live music and various things during the year, like I say, as well as the tours on the bus, the open top bus. And we'll have a look at the boat. Well, there's 2 of them, there's possibly more. You can also hire rowing boats, but they won't be doing that just yet.
Yeah, I was around Park for a handful of days and it didn't get it.
See, even the toilets look quite good, don't they? You know. See, I make the special effort so you can see glamorous toilets, if that is a reality. I suppose it is. There's people like the Victorian tile work and things like that. That's what they say until they get arrested. I was just looking at the tile work. There we are, look. Oh, the Mark Twain, yes. Again, that's a reference to the Mississippi. Oh. Chester boat tours on it. I've been there, I was in America. Did part of the Mississippi and General Ulysses Grant's home. That's another story. A bit of swans in Chester. Any swan specialists? For some reason I think of swan matches. So we're associated with a swan. Yeah, some ice cream, coffee. Sailing will be at, and it's got the time. Oh, I've just missed it. It'll go round again so you can see. Next sailing, isn't that handy? 2 o'clock. What time is it now? It's about around 20 to 1. Yeah, so over an hour yet. There's people already sat on there, why not? They've got their seat and their ticket. Let's get back to our panoramic view here. There's one called the Jackie there, see that? Maybe I should just sit down. Let's go back to, there we are, take a seat. Have a look. Just watch the world go by. There we are. That's it. Lady Diana. Oh, I told you that. Lady Diana. Yeah. There's either royalists or they're not royalists, isn't there? I'm in with Mr. It would just be a Mr. I think. Mr. Andrew, former prince. You know, there was comments. I talk about Paul Burrell. There were comments about she likes carling. She, you know, knocks it back. That's references to her life. I think they made this sculpture thing. It was an absolute disaster. It was just water flowing through this green pathy. I don't know. It was really weird, and you never hear about it, quite rightly, because I don't think there's many visitors to it. And the haters and said you can visit Diana. They saw her, you know, the last days. So over there, you see those buildings? I'll zoom in. Not Brookside, there's another series on Channel 4 and they were filming that. It's filmed in Chester, whatever it is. I don't watch it, it's a soap. People will know or they won't know when I tell them that. See those buildings there? There's a path that goes along there. Well, both sides really, across that bridge. Don't know whether that's Westminster Bridge or D Bridge or the old bridge, whatever. It's nice here in the evenings. Yeah, and going for a meal. It's a very picturesque spot with friends and or people have come to visit. I recommend you take them here. Find somewhere like I do. I've got a short walk where I can park. Because you do, it's not just the fact of that, you're saving time. To get to a car park here, just behind me, where it takes ages because there's so many roadworks and stuff constantly going on. Or even just the traffic itself, all the roads are full. Yeah, we'll just fill it up. It's like a Titanic, you know, and in the case of the Titanic, it was an iceberg. And the case on what's going to happen next is there's just no room and you will go insane living on a tiny island, and you obviously get a bit grumpy, you know, when you can't move your elbows, you feel you, yeah. Oh well. But, you know, it's like Hong Kong. I love the place. I wouldn't want to live there. Well, let's be honest. So you say, oh, you're being a bit nasty. No, I'm not. Go and live in Hong Kong. Don't visit it. It's a fantastic. New York, beautiful place. Would I want to live there? No. Do the New Yorkers live in there? Well, they can't really because it's too expensive. But most of them, no, they don't. They work there, but they commute. There's no way they want to live in on Manhattan Island, which is the main. There's New York State, and then you've got New York City and Manhattan Island and the surrounding areas, Brooklyn, Queens and all that kind of stuff. That's why Brooklyn was called Brooklyn. Apparently David and his wife, he was what was it called anyway, whether he was, they traced it back. That's where it happened, where he was created. It's like apparently he went to Glastonbury, David, and he was with his stick, and they said, oh, it's nice to see you, wife. It's an old joke. I still think it's funny. I didn't deliver it properly. You got that stick with you. And then of course he gets a bit of stick, but he's done a lot of work for the country, you know. If you're a pretty boy, that's it. You know, you don't get people like, well, they did. You remember Tommy Cooper? Not Tommy Cooper, the Henry Cooper. He did Brute, but that's not very common, you know, for a guy who just, it's usually a footballers, isn't it? The beautiful people that do the aftershave and all that stuff. And Henry Cooper did that. I think he was in the shower with Kevin Keegan. No, I'm only joking. They did do it, but I don't think they were in the same shower at the same time. But then there'll be some pressure group will saying, well, what's wrong with you? Can't you just see it's perfectly normal? Yeah, okay. Yeah, everything's perfectly normal. Unless you disagree. Yeah, everything's normal and tolerant unless you actually have a different opinion. There's no light-heartedness in this world now. It's a very serious people who are on a mission. This is a nice spot anyway. Like I say, I'm chilling out with my usual dry, twisted mind. It's so the Lady Diana, she has got a boat. It's like you've achieved something. No, none of these Z-list people have got a boat named after them or an airport, are they? Sorry, I just had a fly, I think. You know, those little flies just landed inside my tongue, on my tongue. Yeah. So Mark Twain, of course, is famous for Huckleberry Finn, and like I say, I was going across the States and I stopped in a place called the Mark Twain, a motel. Yeah. And you know, you get a review. Well, this was a $40 hotel. It was perfect, clean linen. It was all basic stuff, and they're complaining like it should have a jacuzzi and exercise equipment and a swimming pool in it. And it really annoys me because you can't compare. You get what you pay for. Now, it should be reviewed based on it's a basic hotel, and as a basic hotel for a traveller, I just want to sleep there. It was one of the nicest ones I'd been in, and I felt I had a word with the guy behind the desk, You know, and I'm on that. It was in Newark. Another one was in Newark. He was, they're usually behind the desk, and your car is right outside the window in a motel, and it was in a really rough area. You know, there was strip clubs and all that kind of stuff, gambling, but it was a really nice place. And I went there, and I usually put the TV on as a well-seasoned traveller, you know, see what's happening. And then I realised it was an hour late, and I'd gone through a time zone. But that's before I had to go back and inquire what happened to the remote for the TV. It's only a short walk. And apparently I had to pay $1 for it, because for some weird reason they took the TV thing. I don't know, maybe he was with a girl and she was using it for something. Sorry about that, but that's life. Just get with it. So I said that to the guy. It was very funny, and they're very good people. You know, the people from New Jersey and Manhattan, the proper New Yorkers. They've got a very dry. They're not all smiles. Now have a nice day and all that. They're not. You have a bit of fun. I was going in there, this one I was on about, and I thought I couldn't get anything to eat. Like I say, everything was closed. And I thought I said, have you got any, like noodles to boil up? And I got talking to him. He was an American, Italian American. I don't know whether he had connections, you know what I'm saying? But he was very friendly. And I went, we've got like one of these multicoloured drape things. So it's not a door. He comes out through this thing. And I ended up going inside. He put the kettle on, and I had my, used his microwave. Isn't that nice? Because he was curious. I told him he couldn't believe where I came from. About halfway across the States. We got talking, and that's how you meet people. And it's really heartwarming to have somebody who's actually interested. And it's a kindness, and particularly with the area he's in, somebody could be next in there trying to rob him or whatever. Or, the issue with the TV remote. So you remember these little things. Yeah. Could be a remote control collector. There's so many nutcases around. I remember one, it was in the newspaper, he'd collect all the receipts to every Asda. This was years ago. You think, this guy has got far too much time on his hands, and he obviously needs, somebody needs to tell him, look, Jim, you know those receipts, and also the cigar boxes, you keep sticking shells on them. You need to stop, mate. It's not right, it has to stop. But, they're just... I suppose they're harmless, but... So anyway, just having a nice chat at the Groves, as it's called, quote, the Groves, on the River Dee in Chester City. And if I come here another time, and there's somebody, you can go on that cruise. It's very pleasant. There was one that went further. Like a lot of them now are like a con. I noticed on the Manchester Ship Canal and things like that. Well, no, on the Manchester, it doesn't go the full distance, and they've had some excuse. Like they're still doing it now, or because of the virus and all. It just goes on, and they've got, it's the computer's fault, and you think, yeah, I booked something, for an annual health check, and then they got this thing called Patch that then tells you what you've already known, and I keep it on the diary, and you realise that's not another nurse or doctor, it's another person sat in a bloody chair in an office and getting probably more than the staff that are actually dealing with people's problems, It's just... And I'm not anti anything, I just think it's a bloody complete waste of time, so I cancelled that. Yeah. I prefer a robot, to be honest with you. It won't be trying to, you know, the anti-robot things, people. I think they're turning to AI for services because they will listen to you. They're not going to come up with an excuse like, oh, I have to go now, Jim is busy on the next line, or all that kind of crap. You know, human frailty. And they learn, constantly learn, and don't have one particular view on any issue. They'll give you options. Well, with some people there isn't any option. No, definitely not. Anyway, they're getting on the boat, slowly filling her up. Still plenty of time yet for me to go, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah, isn't it a nice spot? Be honest, it's pretty good, isn't it? Eh? Very lucky in the area I am. And I lived in Chester near the railway station, in a like Coronation Street, what they call it, a terraced house. Shared it with a guy who drives the, funny enough, the tourist buses, Steve. I still visit him sometimes. And this is when I was working in Chester. And trying to think what the track I was leading to there. Yeah, yeah, that's right. At night, there's the railway. I heard the trains, which is, to me, I got used to it. They don't run a lot of them at night on the Chester. There might be one or two. But there was an owl, and they wouldn't believe me. You know, the rest of the lads were driving these buses for special needs kids and for disabled and day centres and stuff. And they wouldn't believe me. I said, well, what? I know. It doesn't sound believable. That's why I'm telling you. I wouldn't bother. But there was a pair of, because the station itself, various areas of it, I said, they're not going to go to a tree that's in the middle between high-powered lines, are they? It's moving now, the boat. Yeah, so I remember that. And I like that. That's the only time I've remembered sleeping somewhere, and I regularly heard it. I don't know how many there were. There was at least two of them. You know, because if they're both doing it at the same time, there must be more than one. There we are, and it's going out. That's at a fair pace there, isn't it? Eh? So we'll wrap this up. I won't use the Christmas paper, we don't need that. Imagine I'm wrapping it up with something suitable. I don't know, fish and chip style, you know, with a bit of an old newspaper. Give it a wrap. And there the gulls are following it. No, they're just in their area flying around, that's all. There we are, so that'll do it for the day. I'm not gonna do any of this work. It's like working. I don't like working anymore, but I can find other things to do. Some people, they win the lottery, right? They run a newsagent and then send their family away. Oh, I couldn't leave the newsagent. In the end, I think his family just deserted the guy, even if he had the, you know, just. You think, well, why did he buy the ticket? It's his choice, but, you know. Anyway, yeah. I think I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to have a liquid lunch. That's not just liquid. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining me at the Groves in Chester. Okay then. Bye for now. See you next time.